Let's face it, as business owners ourselves, we know we're not living on social media, let alone we're not living on LinkedIn DMs. That's why follow up is key. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my proven follow up sequence from the 7 days to get 50% of those who are ghosting me to really reply back and actually book the appointment. And also a long term follow-up sequence where you can get them back even after a month. Now, my name is Marcus Pizarro. I run a online business that helps other business owners get more clients through LinkedIn. And today I'm going to be sharing with you an exact script that you guys can take away after this video and literally apply it to your own business so that you don't let people slip through the cracks, your prospects, but rather get them to actually book an appointment. In fact, I actually did it 5 minutes ago. Let me show you. So we are inside my CRM that is connected to my LinkedIn account, and I want to just share with you this prospect. Her name is Caroline, that I've actually been following up with for about 2 weeks now. Started with this conversation, and she was definitely open to having a conversation. So I knew she was interested in having a meeting, provided some more information about how I can help her with the marketing through LinkedIn. She said that sounds great. And what I was doing here was simply dropping times and availabilities that would work for me last week. Now, she actually got back to me. I told her my number. Basically, and I should blur that out, but whatever. Basically, I wanted to double check if that was good for her, if she can give me her information. Then I messaged her the following week, this Monday, and said, "Hey Caroline, know you're swamped. Still think that this could help you get more qualified appointments. Are you free sometime tomorrow or Wednesday?" And I was literally about to send her a message today, knowing that it's Friday. And actually, I should have sent her a message on Wednesday, which I'm going to share with you the sequence. But she said, "Sorry, I missed this message. You can call me today." I actually did not have time later today, as my schedule was a little bit busy. And then she said, "Yeah, what time works for you?" And then I asked if next week would work for her at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Always drop your times in their time zone so that they don't have to do what I call time zone math. And all I'm doing now is just asking for her phone number and email. She gave it to me and I booked her in. So yeah, just by sending one follow-up text, it got me to follow up with Caroline again. A lot of people, they kind of just let the conversation die out, which is not a good idea. So in this again video, I'm going to be sharing with you my exact sequence to a T. Even though I did not follow it straight to a T, I was still able to book her in because I messaged her again. So let's dive right into it. This document will be down below in the descriptions below, but this entire video, I'm going to be explaining why these follow-up sequences work and ultimately how to create your own follow-up based on your audience and your market and how to make it even better and be creative with it. Okay. So just to read it off really fast, follow-up is key. Not everyone lives on LinkedIn or in their direct messages. Therefore, follow-up is key to doubling your appointments. Now, the thing I want to share with you practically is you do not want that corporate speak or that language. And on the other side of the scale, you don't want to sound salesy, right? Just always about the pitch, always about your product. Don't be like that. Instead, you want to come off as a friendly colleague, just trying to regain touch and collaborate. All right. So this is my 7 day, could be 10 day, 7 day follow-up sequence. So kind of like what I showed you with that example of Caroline, the prospect. Follow-up number one, this can happen the day after or 2 to 3 days later, right? You want to give them time. That's okay. So you can say, "Hey name, like, hey Caroline, know you're swamped," or you can say busy with work. "I still think that this could help you with whatever specific challenge they have or certain goal that they want to achieve, whatever the desired outcome is." And then you're just simply asking, would it be worth a quick chat this week or next week, depending on when the time is. Like today's Friday, so I would say next week. Then if they don't reply back, no worries. 3 days later, after they responded back, or 5 days later, that's where follow-up number two comes in, where you say, "Hey, I was just helping," this is actually a copy and paste of my script here, but what you want to say is, "Hey, I was helping similar client, Ivan and Luis in this case, get an extra 30 plus meetings a month for their consulting firm. Figured you might want to know what's working," right? We want to plug in your own social proof right there, or whatever insights you can give as follow-up number two. Now, follow-up number three, this is the 5th or 7th day you're following up with since they last chat. You just simply want to give them the last check-in. So we just say, "Hey, just last check-in, going to assume you're good on whatever challenge you solve for them," and then say, "Unless I hear otherwise. Here if anything changes." Another way I like to word it, by the way, I've used this a lot back then, is say, "Hey, I sent you a couple messages, but haven't heard back. We can put this conversation on the shelf, and if you ever need help with this, let me know." That's just pretty synonymous to this exact message here, but you can switch it up. Now, by the third follow-up, this is where I usually get 50% of prospects that have ghosted, like Caroline, for a week, to respond back and book a time. So that's great. Literally getting, say, like out of 10 responses, 5 of them booking an appointment from the follow-up. That's how powerful this is. However, if they still don't respond, no worries, because you haven't completely lost them. They just haven't responded back. Now you can keep them in the Google Sheet, right? Just the names, and obviously their LinkedIn account, and then the dates that they last responded to you or that you last sent them a message. You can put a date in like a column next to their name on Google Sheet, or in Sales Navigator, which is even better, and using their CRM. And then what you want to do is just remind yourself to message them maybe 14, 21, or 30 days down the road again, right? Let the conversation just die out naturally. It seems like you both got busy. And then these are some like 30-day messages I'll share here in a second that I've sent to re-engage with old leads that have like, hey, yeah, Marcus, sorry, I totally forgot about LinkedIn, man. It's been a while. And I've literally gotten so many messages where it's like, oh, I've just been busy. It's like, yeah, you have. That sounds sarcastic, sorry. Anyways, now I want to say this before I dive into these different ways to engage with people in the long term, like or 21, 30 days. Stay engaged with them on LinkedIn. Again, if you have Sales Navigator, which I insist you get if you're going to do LinkedIn messaging, you can see their recent activity. Here, actually, let me show you really quick here. All right, so we are inside of Sales Navigator. Now, really quick, if you don't have it, get Sales Navigator Core, or unless you have a 5 to 10 team, Sales Navigator Core is all you need for just your own account to do outreach on LinkedIn. Now, as you can see, just going on the home channel, we can see all the alerts or all the certain types of activity my leads that I currently have on my Sales Navigator currently doing. A lot of them are sharing posts about their business, and what I can simply do is click view here and actually engage with their post right here, whether it be dropping a client, dropping a like right here. And that way they can see that I'm also engaging to things that they are interested in, and of course in their market, which naturally so will breed like through familiarity too. By the way, they'll remember me and be like, oh, let me get back to Marcus really quick. I know we had a conversation about this. It also shows that reciprocity. Eventually they'll want to see that I'm engaged with their post if they're posting, or whatever they're engaged with, that I'm a part of it. They also will see my profile, if anything, or just remember to engage with me, right? Since we're talking about follow-up here. All right, so now let's go back to this Google document after showing Sales Navigator. So these are the different types of follow-up I like to do 14 days later, so it's 21 days in total since they last responded to me, or 30 days later. There's no practical order to it. These are just different types of follow-ups that you can do. So really just use them when you see best fit, whether it be about engaging, certain events again that happen, or maybe social proof. So we're going to dive right into it. So the first one is what I call the notice you posted, or you are doing this. So this is really just really seeing that they are posting or that they're active here, and kind of like I showed you with Sales Navigator, if they made a post, then you can definitely talk about it in the direct messages, and then you can say, overall, bring it back to how you can help their business, asking them curious on how things are with certain components in their business or certain challenges that they're facing, right? Now, the second one is update in the market or niche. So this is where it's a little bit more broad, where you maybe talk about a certain policy, economic thing that's impacting their business, or certain software that's popularized in the market that people should focus on, and asking them about it too, right? Using other things, maybe even outside of your service that doesn't even relate, to re-engage the conversation. Because again, the whole point of this is to get the conversation started again. And whether the prospect brings it up again about needing your service or you do, you just need them to first off see your messages. So basically you can say, I saw that announcement or update was released recently or happened as a recent. Most niches or most dental clinics or most realtors are trying to do this or trying to implement this and struggle with this challenge. I was just curious if the same was true for you or true for you too, right? Now let's talk about the third one, which is all about social proof. So update on what is working, and transparently so and directly, you can use your social proof or your service in talking about wanting to share insights. So you can say, hey name, I'm working with 3 companies right now in real estate on their listing opportunities or their outreach. I was wondering if you'd like some insights on what's working. Okay, pretty simple. The next one is sending them free value. So the last two, this is something that you can do yourself, or maybe you found a valuable YouTube post or Instagram post or LinkedIn post itself, and link it to the messages and just say, hey, name, I saw this post, article, video, and I thought of you. Here's a quick link to it. Hope it's helpful for company. And you can also say, like, hope it helps you with sales. Hope it helps you with finance or whatever, right? Whatever it's going to help them with. Same thing here, but this time you actually do it yourself. And this is where you can do a quick audit if you have the time to do it, and just say, hey, name, I had some time to give you insights on whatever company they're in. I made you this quick video so it can help with blank challenge with marketing on LinkedIn, marketing online, etc. So that's where you just drop a second message. By the way, this indent is like a second message. So you would just say this message, send it, and then this one, hope it's helpful for blank company. Okay. So these are like the top, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, top 6 messages that really get engagement back. And again, if you don't hear anything, say you do this one, but there's no responses for, say, a week, then go ahead and try another one where you draw value to them the next week. And then the next week you see that there's an update in the market and you drop this one. And then the next week you close it with them. That's where, on a Google Sheet, I'll actually share with you in a second how that might look like, how you would engage with them and keep track of the follow-up. But again, until they say, I'm not interested anymore, you want to keep following up with them. Don't worry about it. In fact, you have, and not to sound and go on a tangent and sound motivational, but you have a duty to help their business. And if you genuinely are convinced that you can, don't give up on that. Okay. So let me go ahead and share now the Google Sheet and how that might look like really fast. All right, so here's my Google Sheet. Again, if you want to use Sales Navigator or another pipeline software, that's totally fine. I just like simply using Google Sheets, but this is how I have organized it. So let me go ahead and take a couple of minutes to explain this here. But essentially, I just have, of course, the prospect's name here, notes about them, and obviously you can see these are people I've landed as clients. And then from column C to H, I just have follow-up listed here. That's not FU as you think of it. But anyways, follow-up number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I color code things such as not interested, or I need to do, that's what the greens are, picked up, or they responded back, or hold off because they're unqualified, unfortunately. But basically, the number one thing I want to let you know, this is how I stay organized every single day when I want to do my outreach. I just have the dates listed out here as to when I reach out to them prior and when I reach out to them again. And all right, shameful enough to say, today is the 26th. I did not do this yesterday, so we are going to do this today. But the cool thing is you can see Caroline picked up, so I'm just going to highlight that blue and actually booked an appointment, booked for Tuesday. Cool. Live example. And then I have other dates for when I'm going to follow up with them just because they said end of September. Cool. But yeah, you can definitely see all these people I've messaged. Some of them may have said, hey, not right now, no thank you, I'm not interested. That's totally fine. Some people just reminding myself like, hey, right now is not a good time, but in October or November, let's revisit this. So just putting myself some notes there. That's how I typically use Google Sheets to help me stay organized. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And then just making sure you drop specific notes about where things left off, right? And hopefully you can start to say multiple things like they landed as clients. So I'll go ahead and drop that Google Sheet down below so you can copy a template and keep track of your follow-up. But hopefully this video helped. If you have other questions about your lead generation on LinkedIn and outreach, go ahead and drop it in the comments below so I can make a video on it and how it can help you get more appointments and scale your business forward. So if you like this video on doubling down on your follow-up and making sure that you have no leads slipping through the cracks, but yet they book on your calendar, hit like and subscribe. I come up with videos as much as daily, and I hope this follow-up video helps you get more appointments and scale your business.